Okay, and it's another day and another stream. How are you guys? Uh, I hope you guys have been having a wonderful day. Oh, well, hello, DDDDAA592. Welcome to the stream for today. We are in today. Today we are going to be doing some focused work. Focused on what, you might ask? I'm not sure. But we will be focusing on something. I don't know. I'm just gonna do a bunch of stuff that I think I've been kind of like keeping apart. Imagine if I'm looking at this random dude. It would be pretty crazy if. Oh, let's see. Oh. Okay. Um. Hmm. Alrighty. Now I've gotten the I've gotten the messages out of the way. It is time to. Man, I don't even know what I want to do. Let's see. I reckon I should be able to. You should. Oh man, messages, messages, messages. Oh, okay. Oh, there's another person in the chat. Hello, second person. I hope you are having a great day. And I hope you are, okay, so it's just, okay. Holy moly. Oh my days. Sheesh, but what to do? What to do? What to do? That is quite a tough choice. What to do? So many messages. I'm so sorry. I didn't expect to be answering messages when I'm supposed to be doing some stuff, but you know, it's part of the stream. Yeah. I'm trying to well, there's really nothing I could do about that besides being on the Discord app. I'm taking inspiration from I'm taking inspiration from what's it called? From other sources, you could say. Yep, taking inspiration from other sources. So not just Roblox right now anymore. I've actually got some like I don't know, it feels slept upon. And now I understand exactly what you meant by, you know, showing this off and putting a thing, because like it's so good I can't even like talk about it. Yeah, it's yeah. I'm not even sure if I'm talking to the same person. It's like it's a haven of content, you know, tried and tested and stuff. Oh my gosh, bro. Still working on other many things in the meantime. Like I have a bunch of many little things, right, to do. For starters, my 1v1 map, I gotta get that up. And I'm also learning the new things that we got, which I didn't have a chance to do. stuff got with the last update, which I didn't have a chance to try out. Oh, well, because I wasn't sure if I was talking to them. I wasn't sure and stuff. Let's see. D. Okay, so I'm gonna close this actually. And I want to bring this over here. Okay, let's see. Textures, caustics, texture cubes. Textures, caustics. Oh Lord. 1 second, Titus. I'm just running. Let's see, where are we at? You know, oh wait, I could, yeah, I had to turn this off because of flipping, flipping ClickUp. That's not using ClickUp. Fuck that shit. Let's load into the session so I can make some videos. Launch session. I think it's because of the experimental tag. Okay. But textures, caustics, texture cubes, HDRs, where do you look for each of them? And if you make them yourself, where do you create them? Okay. Well, I do have the answer for that. What the world? Failed to connect to beacon? Why do you fail to connect to beacon? Oh my other world. Oh my, oh no, I think I know why. No. No, I know why. It's because I was messing around with the because I was messing around with the thing and I had. Oh, yeah, yeah. Man, sheesh. Right, please don't corrupt my stuff. It's because of this. Okay, 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 okay. Sheesh. So, I was messing around and I accidentally, like, I was messing around with camera stuff, and obviously that's not yet released. So that's why the whole session just didn't try to. Oh my god! I hope that doesn't mess something up. Please don't. Let's do. All right, that was scary a little bit. Okay. What is like? Why is there always some like VS Code just has I don't know. It's always updating something. I'm sorry about that. I can fix the. Let's just turn down the notification sound on my phone. And then we can launch UEFN again. Auto import. Oh my! This was 27 yesterday. I'm coming for you, Vuke. Okay, maybe not, but still. All right. 1,042 installs, and I am still the only. I'm still the only rating. It's all right. You don't need anybody else's validation but yourself. And I say it's a 5-star extension. Bro, I just updated this. Didn't I just... Oh, schmuck. Okay. Let's press down this one. It's okay. I actually haven't answered. What are the odds? You can say I felt the need not to answer just yet, basically. Okay, update VS Code, and then I'm gonna compile verse, and then I'm gonna launch into a session. Okay. And then, no, please don't do that. Compile. And launch. Hey, it should, wait, what? I know for a fact there are some experimental stuff there, so I'm kind of curious why it did not do the thing. All right, so the answer to your question is it's quite a few fold. Let's see. So let's pull up a new tab here, I think. Okay. So textures, where do I go? Okay, well, definitely not there. Let's bring the main thing, because that's what has it. Right. So first is right here. Quixel Megascans, which is now on Fab, but you can still, browse the actual Quixel Megascans. Now the thing about Quixel Megascans is actually I probably shouldn't like call this one specifically, because I don't think you can get these for free anymore. But basically, this used to be the spot. I should just like make this Fab, because it doesn't even let you download it anymore, which sucks. Okay, so what used to happen was that back in the day, everything on Quixel Megascans you could get for free. Like you would just plop in here and download it for free. But then as Quixel migrated to Fab, I think they basically got, I don't know if I can show this, but it probably, if you don't have it, it probably like cost money right now. But basically when it was free, if you added it to your library, you would keep it. So before, I don't know if the time limit is up, but I'm pretty sure it is probably. But before the time limit was up, I went, yeah, it cost money if you don't have it. You can kind of see that flash, like $3 or something. But yeah, I went through and I added everything to my account, right? So, yep. So this one applied to you. So but this used to be the spot, right? This used to be the place. Let's just pin this and replace this one. Okay, but we also have Polyhaven. Now, Polyhaven has got myriad tons of assets, right? We've got if I go to the website, it's polyhaven.com. You got HDRIs, textures, and models, and all of this is free and CC0, so no attribution required, whatever, and whatever. Okay, so HDRIs, we got HDRIs here. There's quite a lot of them. And the beauty about the good thing, like the highlight of Polyhaven is that they're high quality stuff. So we got that. We also got the textures, which is quite a lot. You have lots of grips here of what you can take. And then we got assets. I never really use the assets, but we got 3D, we got models too. The thing is, you see, this is why I don't use them, because they are kind of almost very specific in a way. But yeah, they do exist. I'm going to download that. 2K textures. I'm about to make a chess game, so let's just. It's one of those things where, yeah, I'm gonna make a chess game. Why don't you model the chess pieces yourself? Why would I do that? I mean, I'd only model something if what I want doesn't exist, or if what I need is like very specific. All right, so Polyhaven, you got that. I'm gonna download the blend file because yeah, that's just best. Then I can make modifications and stuff. So Yeah, you got Polyhaven. That's one of them. And then we got this place as well. Free Poly. You can HDRize materials, models, misspelled that, and 3D scans of like realistic assets and stuff. But you got this too for animations. Like, well, I guess this is like terrible advice since everybody uses flipping Mixamo, but you've got Mixamo too for just bootleg animations. You didn't ask that, but it's something that we've got. Then there is Magnific. This used to be different, but this is what it is now. This is for icons, right? It's got like lots of damn, they flipping changed the whole thing. What the heck? I don't even recall what the heck. Okay, so the website changed, but it used to be for icons. I don't know. I'm actually just going to get rid of that. Of course, which translates into textures if you're looking for that. This is upscaler. Oh, this one's pretty good. This is a tool that you can use to generate a normal map from a high texture. So whenever you are making textures and maybe you don't have the normal map for something, but you have a height map, you could just use this to generate a normal map from there. Good to have, good to have. Other tools I use, these ones are like audio tools mostly. Yeah, so like in terms of where I go, it's usually between Polyhaven and Quixel for textures or something. Now, if I do want to make a texture, a custom texture, a custom HDR, then I would make that in Blender, right? So that's it. Yeah, Blender. Usually it's Blender or Figma as well for design, like custom designs and stuff. But when it comes to like textures and models, it would be Blender, and HDRIs as well in Blender. Yeah, caustics it's just that caustics falls under texture. It's just a texture. Or you do it procedurally with still textures, but you know, the world of caustics really just boils down to animating a Voronoi texture over a Voronoi pattern over time. So it's not really, it's not like a specific thing that would have its own, like go here to get your textures, go here to get your this. Wherever you would find textures, most likely they might have some caustic material, caustic texture. Let's see, but it's highly unlikely since caustics as a thing, it's not something that is usually done. Let's say, like if you're making stuff in Blender and you need caustics, you would look into simulating the like you would look into just having a material. Like, okay, it's kind of hard to explain. So you can obviously fake caustics, yeah, and there's stuff for that, right? You can make a fake caustic material, or you could take I don't know, some noise and make a fake. You could either okay, man, there's so much in my head, and I don't want like give the wrong impression of what you can't do, because you could do a lot. So, you could either fake the caustics, or you don't fake the caustics. It falls within those two. So, not faking the caustics means using something that will render the caustic as a property of the light being transmitted through another object. In which case, Unreal Engine's Path Tracer or some other rendering engine that accurately renders light interaction. then the caustics would happen naturally if if the situation under which caustics appear is set up in your scene. And then, of course, you can just fake the caustics by making a material that does that. Now, making a material that does that comes into two ways. Either you just take a texture of caustic that is tiled or whatever, which honestly it's, and you just move it, you just do some animation on the texture, you just like move it over itself and stuff. Either you do that, or you do the caustics procedurally using a noise texture and animating some value of the noise texture, which would allow you know, allow it to look like caustics. So two trees, you either fake it or you render it out truly. And if you're faking it, you're doing it in a material, and that also branches into either just panning some textures around or doing it procedurally. You are welcome. Let's see what that would look like. So this is just decided that it's not going to stay on automatically. Let's kind of just what we're gonna do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm gonna check that on. I feel like I missed something somewhere. Let's check that place again. So extensions, screen. Oh no, wrong place. Add-ons. Where are you at, buddy? Screencast. It used to have a auto open, but ever since I updated it, it kind of, oh, there we go. Enable on startup. Yeah. All right. Let's double that again. All right, there we go. So, tree up. And then going to add a plank. Rightio. So much, buddy. Okay. So we are rendering, and this is a little bit too bright, to be honest. Let's make this a thinner block, and then shift 3, like this. Up a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go in here and set the transmission up to 1. And the roughness down to 0 point. 3, 0.133. Same for here as well. Okie dokie. Oh, right, I enable this thing here, which will allow to see. Oh, it's not very visible, is it? But you can see when I click, at the very least. Yeah, I don't want to make it too, so it doesn't block me. Now, this is a problem inherent with with just the material itself. So there, solid, and I want to. Okay. And this is where I used to have a thing. I used to have like a stuff. Caustics is hard to set up. That's why they're fake methods. And I just realized it's kind of useless showing this on Blender. Let's try to set it up in Unreal, because that's where it would make sense to do so. Caustics? Question mark? One second. That was me. All right. Where are you? Surface material. Like, okay, now this is actually pissing me off. Open. Last dock window. Main window. Okay. There we go. Right. On my neck. Oh. Whew. Caustics. All we need here is the Blender equivalent of noise, which is this. This little guy here gives us. This is our procedural noise in Unreal Engine. This is the two we have. We have the cell noise, which is now the vector noise. Oh, it says under there, but we've got this. It's got a bunch of things here, and we got this one too. So I'll show you what this looks like. And you can change the different types here. So you've got Perlin. You've got different Perlin. They've got like the things here. Perlin curl, and you got Voronoi, which doesn't look like much until you let's do roll position, and then we're going to divide this by a number so we can really see the Voronoi crank up, and you can start to see it right about there. And right now I'm sure you can already see, oh my gosh, that's kind of like what a flipping caustic look like, right? Like, it looks like that, but moving around and doing stuff. Now the thing about this whole, let's do multiply here, and then I'll preview this. The thing about this whole noise thing is that it gives you So you have that, and then you have that. Nothing on the red, just one here. And one here. And now like we also have this one. So I don't want to like go into, if you want to know more, there's like, you know, there's more stuff on these nodes if you want to find out more. So you see, this Voronoi here is like very patterned and very rigid. Let me quickly find out the flipping quality. This is something that threw me off for a loop when I first started with when I was using this for something. I thought the quality, because you know, without the thingy you just see that, right? I thought the quality was how to get the Voronoi, but it turned out it's just the mapping of it. And yeah, that kind of sucked. That kind of sucked. That sucked a lot. But this is not what you want for caustics, because it's rigid. You know, caustics needs to flow and emerge between, you know, patterns. So this is what you want for caustics, because this gives you a continuous value between the center and of a Voronoi cell and the center of the next one, and not just in that case of the Voronoi function, but in pretty much every other noise function here, you get a continuous pattern, right? So let's just bump this up back again. Hold position, and just, you know, bump it up like by dividing, because the world position gives you centimeter level stuff. So you just divide by a huge number. I'm gonna do 512, which is too huge, but let's actually try something out. Now, you may try this with a text or a coordinate, and you wonder, well, why is that not working? Because it asks for a world position. And it sounds obvious, like, of course, obviously I can see it asks for a world position. Isn't that, like, just use that? But the main reason why this specifically isn't working right now is because it's not just a world position like this, it needs a 3 vector, because this gives 3 components, right? It needs a vector with 3 components. That's the specific thing. It needs a vector. So this is not going to work. It needs a vector with 3 components. And that is crucial to know because of the data that is stored and how you manipulate that. It's the inner knowledge of why it's the why that matters, right? So we have, I'm going to use the new one, break float 3, right? Now, in the R of this, you got that. In the G of it, well, you got that. But in the blue, you got that. And essentially what you want to do is you want to, in order to, how do I put this? In order to go from one state to another, you want to affect one of these, just one of them, right? So if I get a make vector 3 here, I'm just going to plop this here, and then I'm going to put everything back, right? So I'm just going to break it up, and then I'm going to like recombine it. This is too much, actually. Let's do 1 to 8 so we can see like a little bit more. So break it up, recombine it, and now we can see the magic. If I were to tap into this section here and I were to do stuff mid-section, well, I'm not actually supposed to do it here, but I'm just going to set up the logic. So right, So this is the logic for it. Just, I'm going to put it back. So now what you have is a 3 vector, and you want it to like merge, but like move between, you know, regions. So think of it this way. That's why it takes the warp position, by the way. So you have the texture kind of like this, black and white, and it exists like we're looking at a slice of it. But it's actually 3-dimensional, and the 3rd dimension lets you go between slices of the thing. Right? I don't know if you've ever seen like, you know, stuff about like how time would be the 4th dimension to our 3-dimensional reality. Well, this is kind of similar, except the 3rd dimension is the, well, 3rd dimension to the 2-dimensional reality. So this shape exists as like a 3D object, and at any point in time you're only viewing a slice of it. So for example, you see how like this is kind of like here, and then as I go in, like the slice shifts as I go in, and then it, you know, it moves. I don't know how to explain this. It would be nicer with a more complex object. Let's see, maybe something like this. Well, it would have been nicer with something that had like, you know, varying shapes. But yeah, we're seeing parts of it, and as we go through, it kind of like slices through. That's essentially what is happening. I just want to like have you visualize that because of what I'm about to do. So before we go into the world position, which the world position determines where we're sampling in this, by the way. So before we do that, right now, this is a static, like this is a static world position. Like we're sampling a static world position, right? But if we were to change, let's say, and it sounds like, oh my gosh, just get to the point already. If we were to change, let's just make this a little bit nicer, because I cannot sleep well if it's not. Okay. If we were to change some aspect of said world position while before we sample, then you can see that we can move along the path. Now I showed this on the cell noise before, but the value you're seeing is stored in the green and the blue, not in the red. And it's going to be kind of crazy now because they kind of changed this, but let's keep the blue as is. So here, take note of this. Moving the blue channel gives us the, you know, gives us like a vertical shift like this, right? Moving the, if we were to like keep the blue as is and then just move the red instead, so like this, moving the red channel gives us a horizontal shift. But then what happens if we move, so like if blue is like this and then the green is like this, then it stands to reason that if we were to move through the red channel, which is the top one, we would essentially be going in and out, like we would be going in and out. And that looks like this, where you have a smooth, continuous shift between values as you go in and out. All right, so then let's chunk this bad boy back into Voronoi, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's mess with a bunch of other settings here to get something caustic looking. Turn off turbulence. What does that do? Okay. Alright, getting some stuff. Nice. Set the output min to 0. And actually set this to like -1, 0.5. And then set this to 0.5. I meant 0.5. And that only affects the, well, it's when you're using it that you would know. Level scale, let's chunk that up to 6. 10. And this seems to affect like okay, so then let's bump this back up to 512. And you see now you have this, which essentially would be a Voronoi-ish pattern. Right, let's crunch the numbers. 1 second. I think my numpad is low. Let's chunk this back a little bit. So, how will I explain the levels? Because essentially, what I'm doing right here, it's more so blended knowledge that I sought to figure out how to do in Unreal. I'm sure I mean I don't want to say there's no tutorial out there for this. I mean, obviously there's a tutorial on how to make caustics, but I don't know. Like I basically like in Blender, there's a texture setting stuff. You can generate textures in Blender. Oh, actually, I didn't even mention that. Okay, yeah. Now we're on the topic. Yeah, I guess I should mention that. So essentially, what I've done here is let's just put like what is lighting. All right, so material here, and if I were to just shading, let's do texture. Let's do image texture specifically. We have like, you know, we have this directly, right? And the detail would be the levels there, but this is not what I'm talking about specifically. I'm talking about damn, let's go in here, I guess. I was looking for this for whatever reason it didn't show up, but here you're able to like, you have the texture tab. Or was it not there? What's up with that? Oh wait, hold up. Let's see. Like it's right there though. Well, Blender version's changing. Whatever happened, this used to be available. I'm pretty sure, but let's just go in here and then get it back, and then we can make a new texture, right? Like this. And here you can, you know, set the type of texture you want to make, and this intensity is the equivalent of the output min and output max, and then where are you? Why is everything so goddamn different? Okay, well, this one is what we'll be looking for. It's actually already too different from what I know, but basically, figuring out what these settings were in Blender. But if you don't have, if you're not coming from Blender, then you wouldn't. I guess it doesn't make sense to explain it that way. Anywho, you don't want levels. Kind of like add. Think of it as a subdivision, if you will. Right. So if you need a subdivision, that's what the levels do. It subdivides further. It may sound like an increase in quality, but it's subdivision. So in our case, we don't need the subdivisions, right? We just don't. We just want the patterns. Well, specifically the boundaries between each cell. And so we get this, and we're able to just like drive this a little bit further. Not to that. What the heck? Something like that. This is just one way doing a power there. Another thing you can do is probably not shape contrast, right? What you could do is kind of, well, I guess not. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with this setup. Just gonna make sure this is within bounds of what I know. And then I'm going to do a smooth step. This is the value. No, that's not the thing. I'm trying to think here. So we kind of got this. Looks nice. But let me see. Yeah, so this looks good. No, 0.2 something. Sort of like this. And invert this. And we got, so original, cheap contrast, that smooth step, and then inverted. And you got essentially what you could use as a, caustics. You can take, you could take, the max. That's not the max. Let's see. Okay. So let's see. I take this, and then Yeah, so there you have it, caustics. All you need to do is just replace this value, of course, with time. Right, and then you've got the movement of the stuff. And you can also, oh, I guess you can also kind of like do a little bit of this as well. Right. Well, not to everything, but to the let's see if we can do it here. X. Cha-cha-cha. P. And this takes, okay, so, all right, let's see. And vector, I'll plot that in here, right, and then break. Oh man, I don't like that it's not yet set up correctly, so it doesn't go into everything. And then replace that here. And of course, we're gonna add like little 0.5. 0.15 maybe. Oh, Jesus Christ. So now you take this, and let me just clean this up a little bit. What I've done here is I'm moving, and then 0.5. I'm moving this in, like I'm just changing like the movement right in this place. You can also just add the time here as well. But why am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm using the pattern node so I could just easily, set the speed for both sides without, having to set up the math for it, which would be just adding and then having, if you wanted to do the math like directly, it would be the add, but you would do the one for like you would do add to this one, and then you add a number to it, and then you do another add to this one, and then you add a number to it. Not add a number, but you would divide this by a different number for both so that it moves at different speeds, obviously. But, the pattern is just put a speed there, put a speed there. Okay. Let's try and make this into somewhat of a proper caustics stuff. I'm gonna chuck this up at the bottom and then chuck this there so I can move this up and chuck that there, chuck this there, which then goes to that, and this goes to that. So I'll line everything up. Oh my god, I tried to use like middle mouse click to move the graph. Okay, so we got we got this, right? And we got this noise set up. I'm gonna zoom in a bit and just do -6 constant, and I'm gonna saturate, just gonna chuck that in like that. Okay, so we got this, and then we do that. Set this to like -0 point, I don't know, 3, and then set this to -2. And then of course we're going to, this initial divide here sets the size of the thing. So we're gonna like have like a, well, should I say 72, right? And now you could just, so this is this caustic. Let's see. Right, so this one is just mostly going up. Let's kind of chunk that down a little bit. 7.5. Oh my god, I meant negative 0.75. Alright, so you got this one's mostly going up. The black line there is because I'm using the opacity of the other one. And then what you could do is you just combine these values somewhat. So the power needs to combine. I'm just going to do a multiply for now. And that goes in there. And then you also multiply this as well. And that goes into the opacity. Now the multiply is bugging out because obviously the black parts are multiplying the black parts, and that's kind of doing the thing, so we're not going to use multiply. But I just wanted to show you. I thought it would come across better on the stream, but it didn't. So we're not going to do that. Just going to get the max. The max will just get the brightest parts of both. So that looks horrendous. Holy moly. Now time is flowing through the same for both of these. Let's just play around a little bit more. Smooth step between. I'm actually curious what this is going to give me. Ooh. All right, well, yep, I would just say, for the most part, that is going to work for you. And of course, you could change a bunch of things here to you can change a bunch of things here to make the, you know, to have like a nicer effect. Actually, we should have been messing with the filter bit first, so let's look at that. Oh, actually, never mind then. Okie dokie. Well, if you want to go on ahead to if you want to go on ahead to make some other caustic thing, well, you are free to do so. But for all intents and purposes, this is one way to do caustics. That is like noobs, fake caustics. There are more, what's it called? There are more intricate ways of doing this than, you know, just this setup. But this is, yeah, this is the heart of caustics. I haven't dived into, what's it called? Quote unquote making, because it's something that is hard to render, and as such there's like, you know, there's lots of studies on how to fake it properly. So it's not something I've dived into at all, but you know, just to fake the look, one can surmise that you just do some splicing on a Voronoi pattern. If we could further randomize the cell size, then this would look a lot more believable. So you push these values further away to get them peaks. Trying to see how far I can go. Okay, let's see. So how do you add it to another material? Well, let's say, I mean, ideally you're trying to make caustic like for under the water. If that's what you're doing, then sheesh. All right, let's see. I'm just going to remove the opacity here. So that's what we're getting, right? And then I'm going to set this to light function. Second, oh, that's kind of stupid there. Light function, and then I'm just gonna apply this. So here's one way you can apply this. And get a light and a directional light. I don't know, it's rotated weird. Oh, the rotation is literally the thing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's get the light. There. Let's do 180. 0. Oh my holy lord. 90 degrees. Maybe that's too much. Alright, I forgot I have like the custom TRDM. So underwater you would use this technique to have it you know, shine based on the thingy, combine that with like a post-process stuff, blah blah blah. Oh wait, let me see. Making it to your diamond like the material, then you would just, I don't know, like I don't understand exactly where you're at here. What did I open up? Oh, caustics. You know, you would just literally, like, this is the thing, right? So you can add this to stuff, right? No, you could just, I mean, like it again, very varying use cases and situations and stuff, but it's just the math, right? And the math would differ depending on the effect you're going for. I made this caustics as in with the mindset of trying to make something to caustics in terms of like underwater. That's why it's moving, right? I made it with an underwater type mindset, right? If it's a solid object, then that would be a, you know, a totally different situation and stuff, right? For example, you might want to have it be view dependent to where it moves through depending on how you look at it or something. Then that would be a different node setup and whatnot. But yeah, the basic idea of caustics, well, the fake caustics here, and this is just like the white streaks. It doesn't even employ, if you're talking about like a diamond, right, then you would be thinking more so um, light dispersion. So the separating of the colors as it goes, and you could add that, like it's all effects that you stack onto. I don't know if I can show it because I did do something like that for my diamond. Um, 6, where you at? Bro, it was right there. I think I can take a look at my um at my diamond. Anyway, so I did the wrong thing. So if we go in here. You see it's the noisiest and takes the longest to render up. And it's not even... Damn. Let's just bump the samples for now. So we can kind of get an idea what's going on. This 1024 samples is not even enough to render the thing properly. Let's bump it up to a bit more, because again, stuff like this is very expensive. But well, this is not that hard right here. This is just man, how do you explain this? This is another somewhat fake dispersion, so we can get. I don't know if it's coming through in the stream, right? But basically, well, all I can say is good luck. There's so much. It depends. Like, now, why would I put so much effort into making this custom? Well, first of all, there's a dispersion thing for gloss specifically, and I knew I could put it on my diamond. But in the render that I was making, the diamond, well, in one of them, the diamond was well, it's practically the focal piece here, right? This skin I imported into Blender. The whole idea was that, hey, I was going to model a necklace and a thing and the stuff around it, because more or less I wear something like this. Well, not with this type, but I wear like a rope thing with a gem tied to it. It's kind of different now, but that was the whole idea. So the effort was justified. Not that it took much. I kind of knew what I was doing when I was making this glass thing. But it was justified because the diamond was like the focal piece, right? If it's all about justifying the efforts of how much, how detailed you want to go into, into something. I keep trying to move the graph with the middle mouse. But yeah, the whole idea here is, if you want to get these lines, right? These lines are not necessarily, they just happen to look like the kind of caustics you would take note of you would see underwater. You would like the closest thing that that you can chuck. Mind you, the Voronoi pattern here that is being, you can mathematically make this too, right? But anyway, here is the setup for what you see on screen. That's all I'm saying. The whole deal with the moving time this way is so that it transitions from states smoothly, because otherwise how would you get it to, like, you cannot do this with a texture unless you were doing a flipbook stuff. to have it transition from like the lines smoothly move between each other. That's the whole point of this thing here in the middle. But yeah, basically, there's a lot to either caustics or, realistic expressions and whatnot, whatever. It's all about if you are going, or you're trying to recreate the. There is a plus tutorial and fab link there on what you sent me. Like the tutorial to what you sent me, trying to recreate has. You sent me a link to the tutorial of what you're trying to recreate. Just watch the tutorial. But you see here, now you see like this wouldn't fall under caustics ish in the in this manner of what I've been doing so far. This would fall under what I showed in Blender, which is light dispersion. As the light bounces around on the diamond, it and it goes off different parts. It breaks into different colors and stuff. Stuff like that. Like I haven't obviously the tutorial. Okay, the tutorial costs money. Set the reason. The tutorial right there. Oh, there's no tutorial. It leads you to a thing. If you want to create this by yourself, like this falls under, what's it called? Shader knowledge, right? I'm willing to bet that none of the things here involves a texture in the way you're thinking. So this would fall within the whole view dependent, stuff. You could probably, okay, I would say like one of the easiest ways I can just, not easiest, but like off my head, right? I would say have each face of the diamond have a different color, right? So each face of the diamond, I don't want to go to sleep. Have each face of the diamond have a different color. You could do this multiple different ways. A different grayscale color, right? And then, because you need a way to ID the faces, so that's the easiest way. Just have each face have different grayscale values. And then, in the material, you set up so that, well, I mean, you could do, okay, so two ways I'll just mention to do the whole grayscale thing is you could just have them, have each face like UV mapped. All right, let's see. Okay, I won't do it, but I'll just like give like some direction on how to go. Right. Nice. Set origin to center of mass. Oh my god, I copied the wrong thing. Are we serious? Okay, no, I didn't copy the wrong thing. Oof. Oh, so that's together. I keep trying to delete the Unreal way. Okay, so diamond. One way you could do it is to just, okay, like I don't want to go, like if you could do geometry nodes, so you just get each face and then give it a different color, blah blah blah. Or you could um go into the UV editing tab. I'm just going to click am I even selecting the right thing? Right. What the heck is going on here? All right. So, well, you could do this, and now each face is gonna have like a, it's gonna occupy different stuff, right? So that if we were to bring this in and you were to preview it, let's do yeah, that's tilted tiny, really. That's just like here's 170. Alt S 170. Alt A, scale. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm showing you the steps for that, right? You need to have a way to identify the faces in Unreal. And what I just did here, put in the UV, you could do the UV stuff. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I don't know. I just wouldn't, because then you're messing with your UVs, and if you wanted to have blah blah blah, I mean, oh, geez, man, it's all come down to like, specifics of what you're trying to do, of what you intend to use the thing for, and blah blah blah. But then I would do it with geometry nodes, which I would just, get the face and assign the face a different vertex color. That way I could just use the vertex color node to read each position. But we have this, right? So the whole idea here is that you get, I'm in the wrong folder, meshes, import, diamond. Now, so now we have our diamond here. And if I went to let's go okay, so if I went here and then I set this to be the UVs, you see we get this. Right? So now we essentially have a different face. We have the faces all marked out kind of differently. Okay, so starters would be, I don't know, now this is not specifically the stuff, but I'm just giving you an idea of how it's happening there. Right, so let's see, part 3. X. All right, so we do this and then like that. I do here. Now let's just do. Oh, lordy lord. We'll do one there. We'll do one there. And we'll do one. Oh, 0.95 there. And then we'll do do that. Surface forward shading. Turn this down to 2. So multiply by 3, but only where no. So we have 1, and I like 30. All right. This doesn't matter here. I'm just trying to get something going. As for the color, they're also gonna kind of like lerp between 1 and nothing based on this spelling. Let's like get a custom one. Go to then. So now you have, let's imagine you just have, this is too much. Let's just do that. Opacity as well. I don't know. Let's see. Roughness 0.1. Now another thing I would do here, like now I have this mask which kind of you know, shows each face. What you would want to do is make it so that like as you look around, it kind of, you know, it kind of basically like changes the colors. So like as you're going from like this face right here, one of that's coming through is red, but you want that to shift colors as it moves across, right? So, but then we have the face, which is marked by the fact it has a specific gray value. And you just want to change this by something along the lines of camera let's just add this and see what we get. the Fresnel node, gives, it tells you like sort of like the angle of the angle of face, the angle of a pixel, not really a face really, but I don't know, is pixel or face, something I can't think. But the angle of a pixel to the camera. So here's the values, and it's easier to show this on sphere, right? On a sphere. So where looking head on gives you the value of 0, but yeah, it's the more you use, the better you kind of get with it. So when the angle between the face, well, pixel, to the camera is between the two is 0. So here I'm looking straight at the center, so there, like, it's the angle between both is 0, then it gives you a value of 0. And as you go towards 90 degrees, so where the pixel now is perpendicular to the camera, which is, you know, going into the thing, it gets to 1. And then you have a few values here which you can use to control sort of like the intense, the fall off basically of the values, right? So if you want to push that out more, or if you want to bring it in, that's what that does. Then you also have like the exponent of the value, so how basically equivalent to having the power afterwards. So now it's not too, it just gives you, it returns the thing, and then you can like operate on those values. It's not linear. And then you can also like use a normal map to kind of drive it. So yeah, that is the Fresnel. And you can use it for a lot of things really. So for example, let's say I wanted to make like glass here, where the object, because the thing about glass is, as you're looking directly at the glass, like it depends on what type of glass you're making, right? But let's say this was a glass bowl. If it was transparent, like really transparent, as I'm looking directly at it, I would most likely see through it, but then at the very edges, it would, you know, retain the form. So using the Fresnel here for the opacity gives sort of that effect where it's see-through, and then you can see the contours, and then obviously you can change how much that effect happens. So now you have like a glass bowl like this, and stuff. Or alternatively, you could have the glass bowl have uniform like transparency, like this, and then you can change the reflection of how like reflective it is. You know, so now it's like really reflective at the edges, but not in the center and stuff. And other tricks. But back to where we were. Okay, so what we want is to, as we look around, to sort of like change this value, right? So we will be multiplying it by something that, you know, goes between a thingy. And I guess what we could do, like the, let me see, come on. Oh, there's so many ways you could do this, but it involves, you know, a rotation of some sort, right? So for starters, let's multiply this by the dot product. Gives you the, on a range of 0 to 1, how much two values align. So we can probably just do object orientation, and then based off of how much we move the camera off of the thing, around the thing. That would be our changing thing. I'm just gonna use orientation. And then camera. Camera wobble. Let's see. So this is kind of working, but not in the way I would hope. Let's preview this. So the object has a it's not going in all axes. I kind of want it to just go in all axes. So right here, the vector aligns with the thing, so it's 1, and then it doesn't, and then it's -1. So 0, perpendicular. Let's see. Let's do something else. Things I don't. Again, it's all. This is why I said before that knowing what values are, being presented matters. If I knew exactly what value this was giving, then I could do something else and like normalize blah blah blah. I don't know. Let's see. So normalize this, so now you know it's going between 0 and 1. It's going like 1. I mean, let's see. Let's try this. Break float 3. And then I'm just going to have this. Multiply that and multiply that. So all axes contribute to the shenanigan. Diamond. Wait a minute. Oh, my heart. Whew. Okay. Oh man, I just love first. All right. Okay. I'm gonna show this and then I'm gonna go focus now because I need to make money. So now this is what now I'm using the camera position. As the camera position like moves around, it's going to like change the thing there. I don't want it to go ever black because that's gonna remove a thing. So I'm just gonna add to this 0.125. So it never goes, you know, black at the very least. But I also don't want to go in above 1, so I'm just going to clamp that to 1 with the saturate there. All right, so we have our camera position thing. And I'm doing the whole multiply here so that each axis contributes to the stuff. So first of all, if I do this without the, you see like this is very big and stuff, like it's very bright. So that's why I'm normalizing it to bring it to a range between 0 and 1. And then I'm using that to affect, I'm going to use this to affect that. So now as I move around, it should change colors. Now the problem here is that this is just, yeah, it's how it's affecting the thing. So let's try something else. Now if I do max here between these two, I don't think it's gonna work how I'm expecting it, unfortunately. Let's see. Okay, well it is. So now you have, like, you can see it's changing. It's light blue and then it's like purple. That's one way to do it, but you get the idea. You would need some form of distortion that is based on like movement around it, and then you would also have this, which is like, you know, giving each face a different value, and then you would combine that together somehow. Hey, I'm doing a max, but there's probably a better combination to get this out. A better way to combine these values, and then you would you know, do that somehow, and drive the values up somehow, or something. But yeah, it's a lot. This is one way, by the way. It's not like the only way, and obviously you can do this with a lot more colors. They're colors better suited than, you know, red and green and blue and stuff. That's why, again, the whole diamonds, like it's something you could spend quite a bit of time learning about, pretty much. Like these are deep topics of themselves, in and of themselves. But oh man, I just, yeah, well, you know, yeah, just so many ways you could do it. So many ways. Right there, I just did like a lep 3 color. I don't use that lep 3 color. It's just, it's cheeks. But I'm just trying to give like an idea of the method, right? It's like you see there was no texture involved. It's just math, colors, and, you know, view dependency stuff. And all of a sudden, I'm actually kind of tired. I don't feel like, sheesh. I just want to go and we are all so lucky, people, to walk this earth, right? But I would go as far as to say I'm the luckiest. I don't even I don't even know. I don't even know how else to say it. Oh, my heart. Oof. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. 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 All right. Um, hmm. Okay, I'm gonna play the game a little bit so I can calm down. Eh, um, yeah, yeah. Let's do that. Ugh. No play. No game. No game. No game. Okay, so. Hmm. Hmm. All right. So, so. So, um, oh man. Right. Let's show some cute stuff for today. How did I forget? How the heck did I forget to show some adorable things? I did collect some more. I thought I collected some more. I know I did collect some more though. What the heck? Maybe that one somewhere else. Maybe TikTok. Ah, sheesh. Wait. Let me see real quick. For a fact, I got my I got like a new cute TikTok thing. Um, this one's actually what the heck, man. Okay, let's. Oh. Oh man. All right, it's only a matter of time. Let's do some. I don't even know what I want to do anymore. Okay. Sheesh. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, okay. Oh. Um, what's the time? It's 8. Hmm. Sheesh. Okay, let's do something. Let's do something. Something. Let's do something. I want to, um, I don't, damn. Oh man. Okay, let's lock in. We have to make money. We have to make maps. Let's lock in. I'm just gonna fall back. I can't think of a thing to do now, so I'm just gonna fall back and just go delete I have to optimize this map. Get it ready. I do have an idea for a map I want to make. An evolution simulator. But for this, I would need. It would be a lot better for me to wait for the camera stuff. So I'm gonna hold off on that. Put that aside. I've completely forgotten what I was gonna do, man. Let's just clean up. Yes. Camera component, yeah. So I kind of got the, without having started, I got the fact, like, I got the like the info that I would need the camera component when I looked at the tank thing that I was making. Camera component would make. I'm trying to do like a simulation game, like a not survival, evolution simulation, right? So not like simulation, like, oh my god, it's simulating life. No. Just like a simple game where, you start out as a small creature and you eat stuff, and then like you grow into a bigger creature. So that's it. You start out as a small creature in an area, you go around, you eat some stuff, you try not to get eaten by other people or other stuff, and then you just level up and eat bigger stuff. That's it. So it's kind of like Be Fish. Actually, yeah, that's a good example of it, but not in, strictly fish terms. So like the Be Fish game, you start out as a fish and you're just like cycling through seafood, right? Or is it Be Fish? You're just you're just going through seafood, right? The camera component is going to be out in, yeah. So basically this, except okay, so it's kind of different. Camera component is out next, not out, but it's going to be available for use in 4 days. So here, like you have like this little stuff, and you're just like eating, and that's like your radius of eating. Do not eat me, little bro. I'm just gonna tell you once. Just don't try this. Like, okay, good. So here, you kind of just eating stuff, right? And it's kind of passive. Like you go over, you eat, like, and this is the gameplay, and you're just, you're not evolving actually. Like I can stay. This is like a high score thing, so I could stay as this fish, and sort of, um, you know, get to that point. So it's kind of different, right? For what I'm about to make. So this one is score based. You can eat something as long as you have a bigger score, a higher score than the stuff. So even though I'm like this fish, I can eat that guy if I have a higher score. But what I'm going to be making is like the things would have health, right? And you would need to click to attack. And if you kill something with a bigger health, then or if you kill anything, don't eat me, man. Do not eat me. I'm just gonna you're 192. Don't do it. Do not do it. Do not 192 million. Like think about how long it took to get here. Yeah, that's good. Stay away. Oh my god. Why did you do that? Like why did you why did he do that? I was a little guy. I was a little guy. Look at that. Now your score is gone. What are you gonna do? Look at that. You just anyway, where was I? So this is kind of like that. You have a collection of fish. Can I laugh at this guy? Um, you grow your collection and you kind of like oh, 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 oh no. Wait. Um, yeah, so yeah, you grow your collection and stuff and yeah, so but mine is gonna be different. There's no collection, you're just evolving and stuff, blah blah blah. But I have to go now. Yeah, I have to go. So unless you know it's almost it's time to sleep and stuff. No, this one has collection. The one I'm going to make, it won't really have a collection. It's just you play and you just try to get, you're gonna progress through different stages and stuff. Um, so it's going to be different in that sense that you progress through different stuff. So you start as a worm and whatever, and you make your way through the food chain basically, and you have different uh, you have different stuff. No, no, no. I'm not like yeah. They did it. Good for them. That's not something I'm doing. However, um, okay, well, have a good. Yeah, people like collecting stuff. But that's not the only gameplay that exists. So yeah, have a good day. See you guys and enjoy your night. I'm getting off. Alright, this stream. Let's do a thingy. Bye. Yep. Stream over.